Hello, everyone, and welcome to Placement Pulse, a platform where we decode careers, interview, and transition for MBA aspirant and working professionals alike. Today's episode is especially valuable for anyone aiming for MBA admissions, product management roles, or a structured job switch. We are joined by Sidhartha Rajput, who pursued his Executive MBA from IIT Jodhpur and went on to build a strong career in product management. Hello, Siddharth. Welcome to Placement Pulse. Let's start with a quick introduction of yourself. Over to you, Siddharth.
Thank you, Neha. Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name is Sidhartha Rajput, and I'll quickly just share my career graph. So I've done my BTech in mechanical engineering from Sharda University. Post that, I worked with Dell for a few months, and then I had created my own startup, raised few funds, and then successfully sold it, and then ventured into a second startup, and then raised it. Eventually, then moved into a corporate sector, into a product management, from starting from APM, and then did my MBA in executive mode from IIT Jodhpur, and then eventually grown into product manager roles and currently working as an AVP tech product manager.
Okay, great. That was short and really crisp, and you're absolutely on point. So, can you tell us, like, briefly walk us through your journey, your background, what led you to pursue Executive MBA at specifically IIT Jodhpur, and how your interest in product roles developed?
Absolutely. So first, I'll talk about the MBA part. So I was looking, I have already started my career in product management, and I was looking to transition more into a leadership role. So that is why I was looking forward some kind of a management program. An MBA is something that eventually land upon. I did my research and also, and there were multiple colleges, specifically IIMs and other colleges who were providing MBA, but specifically IIT Jodhpur because their MBA program is more suitable, and I would say the course is more oriented toward technical technical people and people who are from an IT background. So entire curriculum is designed up to so that it add value even for the people who are already, I would say, are engineers or product managers or data scientists and people who are into IT background. That is why I I would say targeted IIT Jodhpur. They have their exam. You give that exam. They have their round of interview. You give that interview, and basis your test results, interview, and your profile, you get a score, and then as per merit list, you get into the college.
When you say they have their exam, you mean CAT, right? You enter through CAT.
No,
Or
no.
IIT Jodhpur has a like a separate exam.
So all for executive MBAs, IIMs, IITs, and
Okay.
all,
Yeah.
most of them have their separate exams.
Okay.
They consider CAT score also, but that not in many of the cases. More of, I would say, the criteria is what your job profile are, what are your experiences are. That has more weightage in terms of overall score.
Okay. So for executives, there is a separate exam. Can you name the exam? Because I would like to put, some light on that. What is the exam's name, if you remember?
I don't remember. I think
It's okay.
IIT,
No worries.
not sure.
Absolutely fine.
Mhm.
So, what did you gain from this? Like, you had some aim in your head that this is why I want to join IIT Jodhpur, specifically IIT Jodhpur. And did you get it? Like, what was your ultimate goal to join that particular college?
So, as I was working in the same industry, I had, I would say, the industry knowledge with me. I know how things work at ground because I started from APM role, a very junior role. So that I know. What I had in mind, I was not very sure of my leadership skills and management skills. Although I had my own startup, but the teams were very small. It was never a corporate structure. Early stage startup, everyone is doing almost everything.
Yeah,
Hustle,
right.
right? So that's what I wanted to learn from an MBA. And I would say a lot I was able to learn, specifically if I talk about the things that still help me in my career, is like the frameworks that we learn over the period of 2 years, right? So we still apply those framework, prioritization frameworks, and deciding between what to do, what not to do, some analysis and all that we do. So all that, I would say, theoretical knowledge is something that I gained from out of it, which still helped me every day in the career. Apart from this, networking, being in an executive MBA, all the entire cohort was experienced people, right? So everyone we learned with, all of them were coming from their background and already achieved a lot in their career. So if I just to put a number, the average experience of our cohort was around 8.5 years or something like that, right? So there were people who have PhDs and all. They were also studying with us. So that cohort learning and the peer learning was also very good. And till date, we guys, if we are stuck somewhere and we need any help in terms of career or some problem statements we are working upon, we have a groups and we reach out to them and we get a problem statement solved. So these two were the two highlights of the entire, I would say, course.
The leadership framework and the good networking.
Correct.
That's a lot to gain from, a executive MBA. I mean, that's something on point that if you go somewhere where people have a lot of experience, you don't only learn from the frameworks or the theory, you also learn from others' experiences. So that's a really good point that you highlighted. So breaking to product management, as you mentioned, you have experience in product management and you also learned a lot of leadership, which might have worked for you in later. So, would you like to put some light onto it? I mean, product management is one of the
Mhm.
most aspirational yet like misunderstood role today. So, can you explain, like, put a light onto it, like what a product manager actually does on day-to-day basis, and what skills matters more than a job title or a degree, or what do you think is like, the major
Mhm.
skill to become a product manager, or you can thrive if you have this skill in product management domain.
So actually, I would say it's a very interesting question, and I stumble upon this question almost any forum or anywhere like we spoke about, right? So how product management started, right? I'll quickly spend a minute on that. So initially, it was engineers and the business side in the company. Business side used to come with the requirement, they park it with the engineers, and engineer used to develop things of their own. There were designers to help them visualize and get back to business side. But so what used to happen, so I also have learned coding and understand. So when I get into a coding brain, I would say I'm on an analytical side of things, right? I work on logic. I work on I would say numbers. 1 plus 1 will always be equal to 2. Whereas on the business side, because they're talking to sales, they're talking to customers, there's a lot of emotion that is uh, that is there in the picture. So these
Stakeholder
two,
management, etc. Yeah.
correct. So these two people were, I would say, having a very tough time interacting with them. Then where that's where industry felt there is some a role or there is a person who should be there in between, who understand tech, who understand business side of things, who understand emotions also. So who can help these two guys talk to each other and eventually help us companies grow. So that was the idea why product management started. But that was way back then. These days, like I have worked with 4 companies as a product manager. At each company, my role was, I would say, quite different. In B2B, it's quite different. In B2C, it's quite different. But one thing uh, that needed and that I have done, and every product manager has to do and need to be done, is uh, talk to the users, understand the users. So basically, if I would put in a way, you are the user at your company. If anyone need to understand if I am doing this, how the user will feel, he or she should come to you, and it's your job to tell them, like, as a user, this would be the outcome.
Okay, so since you said it's a bridge between coders, like the logical aspect and the business, which also has some emotional aspect, and at times they expect like everything that this is also possible. They don't see, in this way that okay, this is coding and it might be difficult to do it. So how do you see it? Like you mentioned that you have to see it from users' perspective. So I think you understand it very well, but how do you communicate it to them when something is not possible? So, like, I'm also a consultant. I face this a lot that clients ask anything, like anything that, can you do this? And we're like, okay, we'll have to see if it is possible. It might need some testing. So, how do you convince that to the other side, like the business side, that, okay, this is something that is not possible? And what skills do people need for that in specific?
So, a good conversation skill, I would say. So, just to give you an example, I understand it's a tough situation to be. Business side always will come to you and ask for a lot of features, lot of things, and according to them, every our product should have everything. They should,
Yeah,
but
indeed.
eventually we have a eventually we have
There
a
are
bandwidth.
limitations. Yeah, right.
There are limitations. Everything can't be done. Time is also there. So, good way to approach is first understand from where they are coming from. So, what I meant is a lot of the times they might have just heard it from one customer or they have seen it at one competitor, etc. So, we try to find the root cause. Where are they coming from? There could be and let's just say they come to us and tell we need this feature. This very important customer is asking for it. Specifically in B2B domain, it happens a lot of time. Any power client asks something, sales comes to you and asks you, I need this. There is no. So you have to understand, okay, this user is understanding, but then you have to tell them and show the real picture also. See, these are my 10 engineers. These guys are working on these 11 things. If you want me to do this, first let's sit together. I usually do this with them. I sit together, I show them the data, these things are pending. These are the impact item. This is my revenue. If I won't do these 10 items, what we will lose. And what you are asking me to do is we'll stop these 10 things. You still want me to go ahead and do this? In many of cases, they understand. Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. Let's not do it right now, or let's do it tomorrow. Other way around, what second approach that we take is we give them two options. One is a very quick fix right here. What you're asking me, maybe I cannot do this right, but I can do something of it that will solve your problem for now, but it
Okay,
won't
the
be a scalable
workaround thing.
fix.
Yeah.
Correct, correct. It won't be a scalable fix or etc. etc. Your problem will be solved, and let's come back when we are planning the next sprint and all. Then you'll come back and we'll talk about your problem. So usually these two, I would say, workaround works.
Okay, so when did you learn this? As in, like, what all you mentioned is good communication, clear communication for sure. You show them the reality that this is going to be the pros and this is going to be the cons. If you want me to still go ahead with it, you will go ahead with it. I mean, it's always going to be their decision. So that's one thing. And also, you said that learn the root cause. Like, look at the root cause. You might be able to solve their problem. I mean, in most optimistic way, if you look at the root cause. So when did you learn this? Like during your while you were doing the startup, while you were in the corporate or in the college? Like when did you actually learn the skill and how many years did it take you? And when can, a person like me who has very less experience can expect to, okay, after this many years, I'll learn it eventually? Or how do we learn it?
Uh, it's a good question. I never thought like and I'm also not sure when I have learned it. But if I recall now, probably in my startup days, because at that time we had very limited resources, very small team, a tight budgets, tight funding, and all. So we have to think a lot to do, create a new feature, pivoting, and all. So at that time, because things were very scarce for us, I believe I might have developed this, and over the year working with, I would say, great leaders, mentors, seniors and all might have groomed me in a way that now this helped me a lot. So it takes time, I would say, but yeah,
No, you
depending
don't
on
have to
journey.
give a number. It takes time. Yeah, indeed. I mean, I hope I did not put you on spot for this.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So it definitely takes time. It's a really good skill, and it's not into a startup, not into your own business, not into corporate. It can work anyways, right? So you look at the root cause, then you try to fix the problem, and probably you'll get the best results. So that's that. So moving ahead. So a large part of our audience consists of job seekers who are trying to switch domains, especially roles into like, product strategy or business. So do you have
Mhm.
some advice for them? And especially for those who are not from product background but wants to get into it, and want to crack product interview where the roles are related to product management, etc.
Understood. So, correct. So there are multiple ways of getting into product management, if I'll say. So the easiest, and definitely if you are curious about product, so there are, before even answering this question, so what I've seen, and so I mentor a lot of students who to get them into a product management role, and I try to do that. So what I see initially with a lot of students, they want to get into product management for all the wrong reasons. They say, salaries are high, it's a IT job, not being, even without doing coding and all that. So uh, that that is where for those students it's difficult. But people who actually want to get into product management and understand what it does, it's easy. Maybe the easiest way to get into is get any product internship, if any good product company. There you'll be able to learn a lot, and if you are able to, I would say, contribute, shadow a good APM or a PM, then you can eventually turn into an APM. That is the one way of doing it. Second is, even if you don't have a product background, what I would recommend you can start doing, and to grow your product acumen, and this exercise I also used to do in my initial days. I used to go to the Play Store or the Apple Store. Listings are there, right, of every app, and then I filter it to 1 star ratings. I used to find, where these customers or users were actually having a pain, and then I try to find a pattern out of it. This we still do as an exercise to find in our real product, but in my early days I used to do it for other products also. So then I try to figure out, okay, these 10 users having had the same problem, then I open the application. I try to find what could be the reason why these 10, people or the user find that problem. So that, even before started getting into the product management, this helped me connect dots and understand and think like a product manager. So that
Okay, so I
helped.
have one question on this. Sorry to interrupt, but it's like related to
Please
this
tell
one.
me.
So, was this your like personal project, or this was assigned to you? I'm not from a project management background, so I'm really curious about it. That going on Google's Play Store and listing out 10 applications which has 1 star and looking into it, like what is the problem that the users are facing? Like, so what is
No,
it?
no.
Can you put some
I'll
more light
really,
into it?
I'll, sure, sure. So it
Yeah.
wasn't a project or something. I heard it at a podcast. I'm not sure, Blenny's podcast or something. I'm not remembering correctly. So they mentioned to do this exercise. It's not has to be a 1 star application. Application has to be right. For example, Swiggy, Zomato, any application you like
Yeah.
that you use every day, you pick it up. You filter their Play Store rating with 1 star ones. So people who have given a bad rating to this
Okay.
app,
Okay.
and then you try to find a pattern out of it, the ones that you see a lot. So maybe on Zomato, I might, if I would have been a product manager, there could be a possibility many user might have lent this rating, that if I try to order from one restaurant, I added to a cart. Once I came back, then if I want to add order from another restaurant, my first cart gets empty. I can order from second one. I'm just taking an example
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hypothetically, right? Events, I believe if this could have been, and many customers might have put this, I might have do it. And as a product manager, when I read all this, then I figure out, oh, the feature that I need to build is to solve these kind of a users, that they can order from two different restaurants together. So that is what I used to do very initially. Figure out these 1 star reviews, then open application, try to correct the dots, what's wrong in an application. Many a times I've even sent these, my solutions to product manager of that companies also. I made few good connections out of it as well.
So did you do it on random basis, or there was something that you're working on background and then it clicked that, okay, I can research something similar and send it across?
Initially, when I was learning about product management and starting to getting into it, at that time I used to do it just to learn the product acumen. These days we do it just for our own applications, to see, where our own users are having trouble.
Okay, that's really good, to see the practical things. I mean, even before starting it, like first one was getting an internship. That works every time. If you have some experience in it, everybody will be willing to take you to work with them. So that's first. The second was an amazing idea to see what is already existing, create a problem, this doesn't only shows that you're proactive, this also shows that you have a problem solving mindset. So this is
Correct.
a wonderful um, insight that you gave. Whosoever wants to switch into product domain, they can definitely work on this one. And I don't think so a lot of people have this idea. So this is really good.
Anyone can do this. There are a few other ways of doing getting into product management these days. It has become easy. I don't know, by doing a course or something online could help. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But there are few programs like Google, Microsoft, and Spotify. These guys have APM programs, right, where they pick few. So that is also a good way of getting into it. Another way, I would say, and which I have seen many people actually making a switch out of, is in your own company. I have also recommend this when I heard stories of many people how they broke into product management. They spoke to their product head or somebody who was leading the product team. They asked for a few extra hours to just shadow the APMs or PM in their own companies. There are a lot of things that is, I would say, redundant that PMs do. For example, creating events, creating funnels, dashboards, etc., etc. So day-to-day BAU task, right? So that you can go ahead and pick it up and just shadow the product manager for a couple of hours. You learn a lot, and eventually you find a problem statement that is working. Try to pitch some solutions over a period of time, and eventually ask them. Show your interest that you also want to
Yeah.
switch. And this is I would say, the biggest door opening way that I have seen people getting into product management.
Yeah, that's also great that you show your proactiveness, you show your interest beforehand, before anybody asks you, So that's one way to, get highlighted. Also, you also get noticed that, okay, this is a guy who is interested. And also if you're even doing the redundant work, you're making their life easier. So definitely they're going to remember your name and they will bring it up if the occasion comes. So yeah, this also will definitely help. So a lot of good insights on how to switch domain. Now I'll proceed with the next question.
Mhm.
So, in product management interviews, what are the most common mistake candidate makes that you have observed? Like, what kind of product case questions they're not able to answer, or what about this design a feature rounds? How are they conducted? And if you have seen people failed or succeed, how have you observed it? So,
Sure. So in interviews, the most mistake that I see people making is, so they try to get too much deep into the solution part of things. So what I meant is, specifically in product management interviews, I don't think me or people who take interviews, they're looking for a solution, because
exactly.
a solution can't be built in one interview, right? You don't
Right.
we in a real life, we won't give you 30 minutes to do it. But what I've seen is, once I put a problem statement in front of you, many people just spend 30 minutes, 20 minutes, deep very very dive very deep into it. uh, Eventually what we were looking forward is to see how you approach a problem statement, how you think, how if given a big problem statement, are you able to break it down into smaller problem statements, and then you have a prioritization skills, and if not, can you ask right questions back to it. So to give you example, there are a few, I would say, typical interview questions that come in product management. One is RCA. So it's like, you give a problem statement, like for example, you are a product manager of a Spotify, and there is certain drop of average views per day, average listening hours per day in Spotify. That's it. That's the question you have been presented. And then the follow-up question would be, what do you think could be the reason? But I've seen a lot of people getting into it. They pick one area and go very deep into it. Whereas what we were looking as an interview, it's not like there can't be, in 10 minutes you can't figure out what is the problem, but the
True.
approach, that you can tell me, you can ask me questions, what kind of a user it was, what was the demographic, what they land up to, is it a new user, returning users. So that is something that I approach as I'm looking forward to, that you can take a bird eye view, then if want to deep dive into one place, can go inside, come back again, and can do this for 10 different things as well. So which shows you have a critical thinking. And that is what I was looking into, not the solution. That is not. This is one example. Then there are guesstimates. Definitely, that is there, and it's more of a tricky question. There is no right answer to it. For example, one question that I ask usually in my interviews is that you are a product manager of a real estate company. We are uh, building a tower of 20 floors. How many lifts do you think it should be there in that tower? So there is no right answer.
Are you asking me?
No, no, I'm
No,
just
you
giving an
just
example.
take.
There is
Okay,
no right
you
answer.
took a pause. I was like, okay, are you asking me?
So here, most probably what people do is they guess. In my building, it's two, so here has to be two and
Okay.
all. But whereas what I'm looking is not the answer here. It can be two,
Yeah.
three,
Yeah.
four. Depends on a lot of things. But how you approach it. You ask me questions, right? What kind of families do you live? It's a 2 BHK apartment, 3 BHK apartment.
How
Do
luxurious
we
it
need
is.
a
Do you need
service?
a, yeah,
Correct,
staff
correct.
elevator, etc.?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So usually people don't do that. So these two, and these days specifically, if I talk about, there is earlier we used to have a quick round around UI UX of things. We
Okay.
used to, ask candidates to create some wireframes for us. Initial days, I would say few months back also, if they open Figma and anything and try to do it manually, we use it's still possible. But these days, there are AI tools around there who who can do prototyping in a click of a button. So specifically candidates who actually show me uh, Siddharth, I use this tool available. I'll just write a prompt and the wireframes, forget about the wireframes. I'll give you a prototype in 5 minutes. So they get a brownie point, and for me, definitely something that you should go to at least next round, because that is what we are using today. We are not using manual tools and all. So you should be up to date with the market, and if you
Indeed.
do that helps. So
So
I
just
think
to
yeah.
submit,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying, yeah, these were the few I top of my mind that candidates
Yeah, so the
make.
failures will like you're looking for approach, ask questions. I can circle it back to when you said try to get to the root cause. You'll get the best solution. So that's what you're looking for. Whosoever is getting to the root cause, that's a kind of break point for them. They do get a break over there if they try to look for the root cause and what is the actual problem you want to solve. If you understand if you understand that, you might get to the accurate solution. The second one was that you have to be up to date. Indeed, the domain you are working into, product management, etc., and you have to be up to date. In fact, in any domain nowadays, you'll have to be up to date, to in order to scale it or even survive in the market. So that was like really honest and really useful insight and very practical. Whatever you're saying, I'm finding it really practical. I myself have faced a lot of case study questions. So I was asked that, okay, I'm trying to recall the question. What would Netflix, I mean, how much revenue would Netflix generate in one city like Hyderabad? And I know that I could now cannot calculate how much it can generate, but I asked questions like, okay, and I also took some assumptions like, okay, so there are this one family is using the same subscription, so it'll be like
Mhm.
5 people are using one subscription. So I definitely understand, and whatever you're saying is absolutely practical and can be taken up and worked on onto it, and this will definitely help in the interviews. I mean, I have experienced that and also done that, so I can vouch for it. So
No, absolutely makes sense.
yeah, proceeding with my next question, that would be okay. So since you have observed that people try to dive deep into solutions without understanding the concern. So, what is that one habit that you have observed that if they avoid this, this would have been a 10 on 10 candidate?
I don't think one particular habit could do that, but people, and specifically, and I have also done that, and I'm sure everyone does that. Being an interview, we are nervous, right? So we try to answer as soon as we hear a question. So what I would recommend, maybe possible I might have not also done that, but I would still recommend that take a pause, understand what interviewer trying to ask, understand even the what he might be looking to hear from me, why this question is there, right? Definitely we do a lot of practice questions, and also we, as soon as we hear okay it's an RCA, let's let me just quickly answer what I have learned so far. So just if we can take a pause, ask for a couple of minutes, understand what him or she might be asking, and then try to answer, that I believe would could help. And if you talk about, if I put somebody who has done 10 on 10 on the interviews part, are the people who kept their answers very short and crisp. If they don't understand, they ask more questions. And even if they're still not able to answer, they skip those questions as well, and they come back and they say it very professionally. I don't know. I tried, but I couldn't answer it. Can we move to next question? Or can you give me a similar question with some different scenarios? So
Yeah.
I mean, these two things, if people can do, and I also try to do, can help.
So it's like basically try and understand, be clear and be honest. If you don't know something, it's not like you'll know everything when you go for an interview. So just be honest, be clear and try to understand the question, then answer the question. Okay,
Correct. Because
that's good.
you have
And
a very
again,
limited. Sorry, I
yeah.
cut you. You were saying.
No, no, that's absolutely fine. Please go ahead.
So I was saying, because you have a very limited time with any interviewer, right? 1 hour, 1.5, whatever the time frame is, and if you spend that time on something that you don't know, and still you try to answer,
Yeah,
and
you try to beat around the bush and try to get something out of it. Yeah,
you're wasting your own time.
yeah,
That one and a
true.
half hour is to you to explain yourself and show what you have learned. So maybe instead of doing that, utilize that into something that you already know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely true. And the interviewer mostly knows it that if you know it or don't, so why to beat around
Correct,
the bush
correct.
and get
Absolutely.
directly get to the point. So, okay, so one final question: What is
Mhm.
would you like to give some advice for MBA or MBA executive MBA aspirants, early career job seekers, and professionals who are aiming for product roles?
So I would recommend I mean, doing courses and stuff online is good. You will definitely learn a theoretical knowledge out of it. Doing projects is also good, but I would suggest try to learn the actual things from the people. Go on Reddit, you'll see a lot of people, ranting about problems, issues that they are facing of certain apps and not. So try to understand, spend as much time as with problem statements in the market, as many as possible. That will help. One thing that a product manager needs is to empathize with the user. It's your job at a company, it's your department job to empathize with the customer, make sure that your customers are happy. It's no one else's job. And you will only be able to do that when you understand problems, you understand, you are able to put yourself in their shoes, right? So do that. Second thing I would recommend, I would say anyone who are into early stage in career and all, to probably, apart from practical knowledge that you are getting, try to find solutions of your own also. If you've come across, absolutely no issues if it's I would say not a very practical solution. Maybe first time it's not, then you retry it. Try to find a mentors in the industries, whom you can connect with. There are a lot of websites that you can reach out to, and you can find the mentors. Try to connect with them, get there 1 hour in the week, 1 hour in the month. Do your homework, do all this problem statement, keep your I would say solutions ready. And when you are speaking to talking to them, just tell them, this is what I have done, and I just need your time to tell me what I have understood. It could have been a better solution, or could have been a better approach. So that will help. Third thing I would suggest, and everyone, being a new in a career or late in a career, there's a lot of mixtures happen, product mixtures constantly happen across cities, across countries. So in Gurgaon, in Delhi, every other weekend, we product community members, I would say, from Zomato, from our company, some multiple head of products and all, we come meet, share problem statements we are working upon, new things that we are doing. And there are newcomers also a lot of times who join us. APMs are there. So it's we and a lot of them comes with very great ideas which we might have also not have never thought of. So join those groups, be a part of it. understand what other people are working, help them do it. And so this way you learn also, plus the networking part of things. So whenever they are looking for
Indeed.
an APM, they know you are there, you help them, you have a great approach, you think like a product manager, they'll definitely reach out to you and offer a job or something. It's there. So these couple of things I believe can help everyone.
Okay, so I must say this was really insightful, really practical, and everything you said makes sense absolutely. So, what I can recall is from this entire conversation, first you started with like have good communication, then try to understand the root cause, then show when you were talking about the clients, you said show them the reality, don't beat around the bush. Then you use the same thing for the interview. So if I can sum it up, and if I have to conclude it, it will be like be clear, be proactive, try to reach out to people, have good communication skills, try to convey what you have understood, be proactive in understanding the real world problem which is existing, and you have various sources of it, which is like you can, the one example you gave was Play Store, Google, looking for the applications and looking for the existing problems. Then you said that reach out to people and like the APM and show them your proactiveness and the solutions or the problems that you have a solution for, or you have an approach for at least. So that's that. Then you also said that approach matters the most. So that was it. Everything you said was, and things that you learned were like good networking that helps you a lot in a long run, and reaching out to people, APM, and reaching out to people even in your circle definitely gives you good networking. So I would say it was really practical, really insightful. Thank you so much. If you have anything to say, you can please go ahead.
No, I would say it's likewise. I also enjoyed a lot, and I hope what I was able to share helped somebody else as well.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
that's